matches. But yeah, the Shadow Fiend gets prioritized over the 11 Tusk, which was notoriously crazy at Nanyang. Had that one game where he just went ballistic and kind of won the whole game by himself. So I'm very surprised to see that left through.
Yeah, they have kind of got like the first big Queen of Pain, something that's mobile, less prone to going down to a snowball. Dazzle, who can sit back and help out whoever gets snowballed upon. But I mean, Tusk is always going to be a great tempo controller. Just is such a versatile hero because of his skill set. So I don't think EHOME care that Vici have heroes that are slightly okay at dealing with a Tusk.
Yeah, and EHOME even take away the Undying from Vici as well. We've been seeing lots of Undying bans against Vici kind of in recent memory. And EHOME are wasting no time at all. Vici's already dug into their reserve time a little bit, and EHOME are just firing back. No hesitation whatsoever. I mean, get rid of the Beastmaster and the Broodmother, target some stuff at Ice Ice Ice, and Vici just take the Darkseer, but looks like EHOME's still ready with the plan in mind. And this lineup fights so well in the early to mid game. This is actually terrifying, I think, if you're Vici.
Yeah, and I think that's partially why they get the Bristleback, is to get some fight of their own. We've seen a bit of Bristleback actually played in the European scene from the mid lane, so I wonder if this will even be perhaps a mid-Bristle, safe lane Queen of Pain. Either way, whether it's safe lane Bristle or safe lane Quap, they're guaranteeing that Bristle will get some guaranteed early farm, and a hero that does tank up and fight pretty decently early on. Not as good against the Tombstone as he once was, because even when you stack up the Warpath, it's still going to take a lot of right clicks to bring down the Tomb, as opposed to just being able to like 2 or 3 shot it with a lot of base damage, so not quite as good against the Undying as he once was anymore.
Yeah, and so where do you think this puts the mech? I know that a lot of the Chinese teams do actually like to put the mech on Bristleback a decent amount, but
I think Darkseer's still fine.
I guess it depends on who's going to get it fast, right? I think either way they need it fast, because EHOME are going to come knocking really early.
Yeah, I guess it depends how badly Darkseer's getting bullied out of his lane, and I think all in all, though, it's just going to fit a bit nicer on the Darkseer. Bristleback can go for just more straight-up survivability in like a Vanguard SMY type build. But if Darkseer's really struggling and it's going to... Bristleback will farm it in a good time, maybe he can get it himself.
Yeah, so I guess we are... I wonder what we're looking at here. I mean, it's probably just Quap mid, Darkseer off lane, maybe Bristleback safe. It's kind of a weird lane for him, but at the same time, I guess you have to think about what EHOME are going to be doing with their lanes, and that could be a Tusk Undying kind of a setup, making its way towards the off lane. So maybe you want the Queen of Pain there instead, and it is super picking at the Bristleback, so who knows? They have to now try and dodge the Viper with the Bristleback, and yeah, there's all kinds of shenanigans going on. This last pick Viper actually looks really potent right now, because it's very solid against the
play
Quap
and run a lot.
Yeah, it's really solid against the Quap and the Bristle.
I think they may still just be sending Bristle mid, even though it's a slightly unfavorable matchup. I mean, the few times I've seen this Bristle go mid against Vipers in the past, I've always been like, oh, it's going to be a kind of bad matchup, Viper will crush it. But Bristle like still seems to get good farm. It's just a matter of not going down once the Viper hits level 6 to make sure your lane doesn't go too horribly wrong. So I'll be curious to see. It looks like Super is headed towards the mid lane, despite knowing it will be a 1v1 against Old Chicken's Viper.
Yeah, a couple of early shenanigans coming out. Ice 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 has already made his way down and planted down a ward that's just going to block the pull through here, and it's in kind of a spot that EHOME are, I think, somewhat unlikely to deward it, because you're often expecting that it's going to be, if this camp is blocked, you think, oh, right, it's in the back of the camp, and you know, you may even try and sentry it down on the low ground instead, but Super's pinging the ward. He's got some opinions on it, who knows, but
dubious choice of word. What were you doing?
he's looking at Ice Ice Ice's handiwork. He's like, what are you up to here, buddy?
Yeah. Maybe just pinging some heroes, you never know. Maybe like, oh, it's an amazing ward, Ice Ice Ice. Keep up the good work, good hustle. That's a good start to this best of 5. That ward setting the tempo we needed to take this win. So who knows? EHOME themselves go in for a deep ward. They block the pull camp for Vici Gaming. Ooh, went for the Sleight of Fist bounty rune still, CTY. Doesn't get it at bottom though. Nice attempt.
This is going to leave him with Sleight of Fist at level 1, which I don't know if that's necessarily ideal for him, but...
He's got a Skywrath in his lane who's just
that's true.
So good at zoning that they don't have the kill potential of a Searing Chain slider of the Searing Chains with the Flame Guard, but as far as zoning and farming goes, he'll be just fine.
Yeah. Ice gets a little bit of help to start this lane out with the Fissure block coming across from FY's Earthshaker, so this is a pretty good start for the Darkseer, and we were talking about being a little bit worried about his mech timing, but I think even with just this little bit of help, this should help ensure that, more or less. He didn't bring double regen or anything, he's actually got double clarity here. And this Skywrath Mage harassment is going to hurt pretty bad, so...
Yeah. Oh, he had Salve and Tango, so he should be alright.
Yeah, some people even against the Skywrath will bring like double Tango and a Salve, but we'll see what he goes for build-wise here.
Gonna Iron Shell himself up. It looks like he wants to start manning up and fighting now with the big creep wave advantage.
Yeah, he's got so many range creeps. Well, he's got 2 range creep. It's pretty hard to fight him, so that makes sense. We had a Fissure block on top, but just some harassment onto 11, so it looks like Vici going to be running the full defensive tri-lane here just to make sure that they get some farm on the Queen of Pain. That is going to hurt her levels a little bit overall, but I think the guaranteed farm is worth it, and there isn't really anything else that these other supports can do. I mean, maybe the Dazzler could go and try and help out mid with the Bristle, but I think it's actually just more important that the Bristle gets levels and whatnot. Snowball top, 11 just dodging a Shadow Strike with that. Nice little play, but...
This Bristle will be just fine, 1v1 for now. He's just going to spam Bottle Crow, grab runes when he can, and until Viper hits level 6, there's not a huge risk to his life unless he severely misplays it. And I think the big scare is that Undying Tusk lane. A lane we saw a ton going back to like a couple patches ago, and it would beat any dual lane and even some tri lane. So that's where Vici Gaming want to make sure they don't get beaten down by this pesky duo.
Yeah, they've done really well for themselves as well. They brought up a sentry, they managed to unblock their pull, so they're starting to just build up a little bit of an advantage, denying some experience to the dual lane. 11's still getting a couple of CS here and there, but YJ doing a good job of getting in some denies, and I think they're managing this really nicely. Ice not getting as much farm as I expected on bottom lane, and CTY just going to be a nuisance with that Sleight of Fist point, does end up cancelling Ice's second clarity, so... Looks like they're doing alright so far, but Ice has managed to reach level 3 now, so... I think he'll be okay moving forward, but looks like he has been stalled somewhat by the dual lane.
If he really wants, he can rotate into the jungle, because he's not getting too much farm in the lane, he's just getting a bit of XP here and there with only 6 CS, but for now he's actually rotating into the Radiant jungle of all places, possibly looking to see if there's any stacks or anything, but either way, it's at least like the adequate enough levels that he's got options. He can help out some of the other lanes, he can stay in the off lane, he can go jungle. See another snowball dodge from 11 at top lane, and he's really giving Vici Gaming a rough time with it. Well, not so much a rough time with the Trilan, but he's just not giving them any openings to go on him.
Yeah, and especially dodging this level 2 Shadow Strike. It's a pretty big deal. Kaka, a bit of trouble, still has a Soul Rip and a Decay. Only gets it out onto 1, it's just more harassment, more regen being traded. Really overall, and VGR coming out well ahead in the regen battle right now. CYF still has a Salve, they've got double Tango on each of their supports. And meanwhile, for the EHOME side, it's just a Mango apiece and a little bit of Soul Rip help. So even with the dodges, they are still getting kind of chipped away at here, which is just the nature of the Queen of Pain in lane.
Super going to contest this bottom rune. Skywrath, I think, realizing without boots, he's actually going to lose that battle. Gets the Viper to come in to help him out, though. And oh, actually, Super doesn't get the rune in there.
Yeah, I thought Super was closer. Now CTY is rotating in, gets the chains off onto 2. Super really getting slowed down. Ice is going to try for the surge away, but the body block, CTY almost going down, I think, to that last Quill Spray, but Ice with one last auto attack still finishes him, and Old Chicken will be able to continue the pursuit. Looks like they're going to bring down 2 cores. Really disastrous rune for Vici Gaming there.
Yeah.
And top lane, we're
Super
not done.
so
11's
indecisive.
totally blocked in. Tries for the TP, but he's just gone. Alright, so 2 for 2 all over the map. Not the worst, but...
Yeah, Ember with the first blood, though, and Viper with a follow-up kill.
Yeah.
And this Bristleback's going to have a really rough time now. Viper's going to hit level 6 off of that. He's about half a level ahead of the Bristleback. Not the biggest discrepancy in experience, but once the level 6 Viper Strike comes out, this Bristle may just straight up die if there's any kind of a rotation, even without a rotation.
Yeah. It is really going to get rough. And they don't have the support stacking or anything, Old Chicken, considering running up the hill, but he knows that there's still some bottle sips. So it does need to be a little bit careful. His build is also quite aggressive. Only the 1 point in the corrosive skin so far, so it has to be a little bit more careful as a result. But
Yeah. I like this build against the Bristle. I think you want to go more aggressive. You don't benefit as much from the corrosive when it's physical damage output from a Bristleback anyways.
Yeah. And you just want to punish him every single time he tries to come up to the wave and get CS. Gotta push that lane domination angle as much as you possibly can.
This guy's actually rotated top here. It looks like EHOME really want to try set something up in the top lane, but there is a dire ward here that may scout out the Skywrath fairly soon.
Yeah, and they've got the snowball into Ancient Seal actually to get the Ancient Seal off, and looks like he might still be alright. There's going to be a Grave. Not quite enough lockdown, only level 3 on the Tusk. Nice attempted rotation, but the Dazzle doing exactly what it's meant to there and helps keep the relatively fragile Queen of Pain alive.
That's a pretty high-risk gank. Like, the only way that works is if Dazzle is off-pulling and out of position for that Grave, and that's where EHOME don't need to go for that play. I guess they feel confident that CTY's okay on his own at the bottom lane, but he's getting pressured quite heavily. Ice, now level 6, is actually level for level with CTY and putting a lot of pressure onto the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and there's only 1 point in the Flame Guard as well, so the Iron Shell's gonna dispel that super quickly. He should know that the Earthshaker's down here, but
wow,
still just gonna get totally blown
that
up.
just happened too fast.
Yeah, 11.
11 was even ready for the counterplay. Like, if Ice died, he was like, oh, I'll TP in, but that fissure wall just instantly blew him up with the vacuum.
Yeah, did he even take... no, it looks like just the one instance of the Wall of Replica damage. I was wondering if he summoned the illusion and then maybe changed it and it died and he was still on the wall and just took the damage again, but it was... they had more than enough burst to kill him. And that was even with him knowing that the Earthshaker was down there, just kind of too squishy on the Ember and a really nice rotation out of FY.
He at least had the Remnant down so he can come right back to lane, and with the Tusk, it looks like they want to go for a kill here at bottom.
Yeah, FY still got a Fissure to disengage. Ice is a little bit low on mana. Snowball comes in, bunch of Remnant damage. Fissure opens up some space, but Ice is not going to be able to use it to get away. So still keeping things very even here in the early game. 3-3 the kill score so far.
Yeah, and that's one of those ice deaths where it's like, well, he dies, he's got a lot of experience and farm out of this lane. CTY had to use a triple Remnant as well as a lot of HP and mana to get the kill, so when he returns back to this lane, it's going to be suddenly a lot easier and there's a lot less of a kill threat coming out from the Ember Spirit, so a somewhat acceptable death for a Darkseer in the off lane.
And knowing that the Tusk is bottom, you can play a little bit more aggressively on top, for example. Super just gonna run in and clubs down 11, who is trying to get on this 8-minute rune, but just too many Vici heroes in the neighborhood. Super's clearing at Ancients right now.
Yep.
Lamb wipes the double damage, looking for ZYF. He still has some bottle slips, actually gonna turn around, looking to deal damage right back. He's still got stick charges. The right-click battle continues. Gonna get one more Arcane Bolt off? He does, but 18 health. Enough for End to get that kill and back himself out. That was very close. Yeah.
It's slightly unnecessary. I guess if the Skywrath gets the kill, it's a huge pickup, so he's thinking like this is just like a not necessarily a game-winning pick-off, but like a really crippling pick-off for a Queen of Pain. Safe lane Queen of Pain going down to a support, and that would give Skywrath like a level 6 instantly, so risky, but it was high reward.
Yeah, and I think he was just relying... well, he was hoping that the double damage was going to be the big deciding factor, but... yeah, that honestly could have gone either way. I don't think either player necessarily knew that, like, oh, I'm entering into this and I'm definitely gonna win. ZYF was just gambling on the fact that his...
it was not like an obvious... yeah, not an obvious bait or anything. Even though he had the 1 charges, I think Skywrath was like, well, I know you've got 1 charges, but I think I can DPS through this, so... Ancients do get farmed, and with that, Bristleback completes a Vanguard, 9 minutes in the game, boots Vanguard, which means definitely a Darkseer mech, and Ice is farming at a pretty decent rate right now. The big breadwinner is this Viper, though. Viper is got a tier 1 tower now, a lot of farm. Yeah, he's massive.
Yeah, but I'm really gonna have to flex this Viper as much as they can. Take that early lead and just continue to pressure them. And they've already brought down tier 1 on mid, so starting to get some extra gold flowing into the hands of their extra heroes, and it's for Vici the question is going to be when exactly they choose to take that first big fight, because it's not like they're looking to necessarily outscale. I think they are a little bit more defensive on the whole, just with their hero composition, but yeah, they still want to try and take that one crucial fight and start turning the game around at some point. Gonna jump in bottom lane, FY caught out a little bit. Still a Grave available. Ice is going to come running in, but he's only got 1 point in the vac. And does need to be a little bit careful. Surge wearing off, Super charging in with the Vanguard, feeling a little bit more
You're going to see
confident.
this Viper in the front lines and just be scared. Even though you've got a Vanguard Bristleback in the front lines, like this Viper will just chip away at him slowly, and you can't run past the Viper. Like he is just going to like be the big old bruiser who's going to keep everyone away. So if Viper's in the front lines, I don't think Vici Gaming can take a fight right now.
Yeah, and for the EHOME's lineup is also really difficult to escape from as well. That's the thing that you have to be careful of for Vici. You know, you commit in, Ice Shards are going to stop you leaving, Side of Fist Chains is going to stop you leaving, the Viper slows, the concussive shot. So they're really going to have to be smart about which engagements they take. We've got a gank coming top lane, Lamb looking to loop around, he's got 2 points in the Ancient Seal, and was looking for this kill on Kaka, but it's going to get turned around on him. Kaka survives, and that is a big pickoff going 11's way.
That's a Sonic Wave also on cooldown, so a lot of big problems there. C2I at bottom, getting
Yeah,
very low.
Remnant out, he's getting burned down.
There's a third Remnant, he'll use all three to escape, it looks like.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
That's what they're there for, but...
Yeah, we're still running in for the north, but yeah, it's a pretty big investment. Doesn't even have a Remnant to get back out into a lane. I guess he's got his TP scroll, but pretty expensive for him overall.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Across the board, Vici Gaming, though, they would love to get this tier 1 bottom tower. They're doing this while the Queen of Pain ultimate's on cooldown. It looks like Vici Gaming are going to look to position to defend their top tier 1 as well, so no trade in sight for now for EHOME, but they are TPing more heroes up towards top. Old Chicken has completed his mech, which may mean he will head top to join up with his team and apply some pressure.
Yeah, that should hopefully be the catalyst. They're looking to burst Fenrir, I think. A couple of pings coming out of 11. He's got this Invis and he's got his Walrus Punch now, so might be able to get this. I think there's still a Dire Ward that's just scouting out these rotations towards top, but they might not know about this 11 Invisor necessarily. Oh, they see 0AF blink forward, it's right into 11, and that everything's going to be on cooldown for such a long time. Fenrir unable to get in range for the Grave. Has 2 points in it, but it's not going to be enough. Looks like a few more auto attacks going to bring him down. Just buys some time with the Grave, but he's definitely dead. There are some more Vici Gaming heroes heading up, but Ice won't be able to do anything, and looks like they're just going to have to totally forfeit this tower.
This is not looking like a good position to be in for Vici Gaming. They've got all this farm and prioritization towards the Bristleback, but we're not really seeing Super able to fight. He's just going to get kited around badly by the Viper. Instead, he's going for some split push plays, and now they're actually going to gank him out in the mid lane. Super thrown up in the air. The Walrus Punch is there. C2I has a chain still, and I don't think he can take this one. He may get one kill on his way out. We'll bring down the Skywrath Mage. No chance of getting C2I as well. A 1-for-1, but EHOME get the more important kill.
Yeah, by far. And still holding on to their tier 1, it's really healthy. And yeah, I have to agree with you. We see the Vanguard up in the Bristle, you see the mech over on the Ice Darkseer, but it still kind of feels like Vici haven't been able to put together anything to take a fight. A lot of it has come down to initiation so far. I mean, they've really been the ones jumped for the last couple of minutes. And for them, they need a much more structured fight. They need to have everybody behind the Bristle. Bristle needs to have an Ion Shell. They need to have the mech at the ready, the Grave at the ready. And EHOME just kind of denying that to them with their initiation and the way that things have been starting out.
And ideally, they need to be hitting like a multiple hero fissure into Sonic Wave. We haven't seen that Queen of Pain even really rock up to a fight. The 2 kills that En's got have been in that kind of just safe lane off on like single target pickoffs.
Yeah, Vici with the smoke coming in, looking for something. Kaka still manages to get down the Tombstone, healing up a little bit off the Decay, and he's still full HP with the Soul Rip. Wall gets dropped, and looks like they will be able to focus down the Tomb. Ice being isolated. FY running in, that's going to actually get the silence over onto him, but he still manages to drop the Echo. Do they have enough damage? They're all inside the Snowball. Old Chicken dropping very low. FY still alive, courtesy of the Grave. That's 2 down so far, and no casualties from Vici. Kaka looking to keep on fighting here, but Ice burning him down. And looks like it is going to be a 3-for-1 end of the day. FY managing to drop all of his spells, so not even all that unhappy about going down. And still getting a lot of golden experience, I think.
I mean, that fight started quite bad for Vici Gaming. They didn't do any damage. The Viper mech healed everyone up. And then on top of that, like, the Echo Slam missed because of the Snowball. That Snowball was super clutch, but Vici Gaming had so much sustain. The mech on their side, as well as the constant shadow waves from the Dazzle, just kept healing them up, and EHOME didn't have the damage they needed to get any kills.
Yeah, that was not a great fight.
Little fight.
Dire's courier
C2I defends a courier.
Alright, so it gets something at the very least. He's picked up the phase boots here, so we're not going to be seeing that that boots of travel build that's been fairly common of late. I'm not sure if that's just a TTY preference thing, or if that's sort of the, you know, a state of the game thing that they're just deciding, alright, look, we needed to have these early fighting items, but still no big departure after that. It's just going to be going straight for the Battle Fury. Picks up a Perseverance here.
It's helped him out in a couple of situations when he's been on the run, but we haven't really seen him... Like, that fight, he shows up, not necessarily late, but he shows up and his team just isn't really in good fighting shape. It's the Vici gaming side with the armor advantage coming out from the weave and just the better sustain with Dazzle as well as the Darkseer mech, who come out on top.
Yeah, the Sonic Wave is really nice as well. I was looking at the damage at the end of the fight. Queen of Pain up there around 2k. Ice as well, surprisingly, just had Ion Shells on everybody for the entire duration, and I think not being able to burst him was a really big problem for EHOME. And again, just comes back to that initiation idea. Vici were the first ones there. They were the ones that got the jump, and EHOME had to kind of back up as they were trying to take that.
EHOME didn't really burst or focus anyone. I felt like they were very much like reacting, and in the moment of panic, it was never like any clear call, like this hero is the hero that we have to kill and focus down first. They had focused the tomb. That was the one call it seemed they made, and then after the tomb went down, there was no clear game plan to win that team fight.
But they do at least stop the EHOME advance a little bit. Tier 1 tower still standing on top, so starting to fight back. Looking at the net worth, there's pretty much no lead at all at the moment for either side. There is a little bit of an experience lead in Vici's favor after that last fight, but still not a whole lot to talk about on that front, though. EHOME still feel like they are the lineup with more pressure on them to get things done, especially if this Viper starts to stall a little bit, though. Old Chicken has picked up Gloves of Haste, and he's got 1,500 gold banked, so looks like his answer might be just heading into a Hand of Midas and being ready to take this a little bit later if that ends up being the case.
Yeah. And Bristleback seems to be this hero that hits these kind of weird power curves where he gets really strong, like kind of in the early game for a little bit, and then he kind of falls off, and then he comes back online again when he gets like a couple items like an SMY plus BKB, but then ultra late game he really struggles. Like the few core Bristlebacks I've seen the last few days, it's been run mid by S4 as well as Vega. It just could not fight in the ultra late game, despite having a good start before that. Top lane, Vacuum Wall comes out. They've gone in on EHOME here. They need some kind of chase here. Where's the Queen of Pain? Looks like EHOME for now just looking to back off, heal themselves back up, supercharging in. Has a haste rune of all things. He's looking to wreak havoc here. Gets thrown up in the air by a Warrior's Punch. The mech going to come through to heal him up. Nice 2-hero fissure. And 11 and Old Chicken both in trouble here. Super just ignoring the tusk, running further forward. That haste rune though going to wear off, and to be a little bit careful here. Super getting low underneath the T1 tower. And without a haste rune, he may just go down. He's got no TP during the grave, and that grave going to wear off soon. It looks like he may go down. The heals are there, just barely enough sustain. He gets out of the Skywrath Mystic Flare as well. 0 for 0. Despite like both teams dishing out like 4 to 5k damage, no one goes down.
Yeah, crazy fight in
I guess
Ice.
not done yet.
He's not done. He wants to surge in, wants to do some more Ion Shell damage. Needs to be careful. There's a snowball. There's actually plenty to catch him. There's the Ice Shards as well. Do they have another grave? No, it's still 5 seconds on cooldown. And not a whole lot of mana left on Fenrir. And as UIF's in some trouble, Silent Stop. Now the grave comes up, but not really helping all that much. FY wants to drop an Echo Slam, but he won't be able to. Just getting right-click down as EHOME sustain through with the Urn, with the mech, and the Soul Repeal, and do end up taking that fight 2-0. But that was totally Vici's decision to re-engage there.
They tried to re-engage with the Quap ulti, because Quap was like mid-cast animation and then got silent, so they never got the Quap ultimate off. If they got like another Fissure plus Quap ulti with a Darkseer Vacuum, for example, it would have been great, but Darkseer in the front lines got brought down too low, Quap got silenced and then had to blink away from a Tombstone, so everything kind of fell apart on the re-initiation. And EHOME, as you mentioned, a bit too much sustain.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Vici very reliant on that Queen of Pain ulti to actually burst anybody down. At least until they get the Blink Dagger up on the Earthshaker. I mean, Bristleback, sustained damage, Darkseer, sustained damage. So, if they want to do anything in the face of all the sustain, yeah, it's really going to come down to that Quap ulti. And I guess it is going to get easier once the BKB comes up over on end here.
Super at top, you get found out by Skywrath and Tusk, but they do not really have the ways to bring down a Super Bristleback.
Still running in. There's a vacuum up out of the high ground. 11 picked up that invis rune, but just gonna get bursted. They didn't want him blinking away or making any kind of escape. Alright.
Big T1 tower getting low. They're going to fissure a Old Chicken, prevent the deny, and Old Chicken could be in a little bit of trouble here with the Midas. He's a little bit squishier than you'd normally expect, and they are looking to continue to chase him down.
Yeah, Fisher's...
This is like Ice says better than any Darkseer player, which is micro the illusion. As he'll just spam the wall instantly for to start a fight off on a single hero, and then just Iron Shell and Surge the illusions for that extra bit of damage. He does this more than any other Darkseer player that I've ever seen.
It's those old StarCraft 2 skills getting put to work.
I mean, sometimes I'll see the wall dropped. I'm like, was that really the wall to use? Just for that little bit of 50 to 100 damage that it does on impact. But he makes it work.
CTY just being a nuisance. Top knows that the Queen of Pain is not going to be enough to force him back, and there isn't all that much lockdown on Vici either. So living life on the edge, but he doesn't have a remnant out far enough away here, so Ice is going to go after one, throws it a second, gets vacuumed back, fissured, and, well, looks like a little bit of overconfidence from CTY. They may be losing track of where his other remnant duration was at, and just kind of randomly dies. That's very awkward.
Yeah. That's not something you want to be... the Ember at this stage should be the invulnerable one, who can just kind of split push anywhere on the map, not risk really going down. Does have enough money for his Battle Fury when he respawns, but... ultimately, it's the kind of kill that Vici Gaming will just eat up and be so happy to find.
Especially because the
T1
last hit was picked up by FY. I mean, look at his gold now. He's very close to Blink.
That's good news for Vici Gaming. It feels like this is a great game to have a fast Blink Earthshaker on, just because you need that bit of extra burst damage from an Echo. With Viper as tanky as he is, if you want to initiate and kill the Ember again when he's split pushing, that's kind of the answer. It's going to be a Blink Echo Slam before he can remnant out.
Smoke reveals smoke. Ice here in the front lines. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Super's getting slowed down a little bit by the Viper Strike. ZOF does not have a blink away for a little bit, still holding on to his BKB for the time being. But are they going to let Super go? Looks like no. Ice drops the vac, drops the wall. Old Chicken actually drops very low off of that. Has some one charges, and that's going to give him enough mana to reactivate the Mech Kaka, still tanking through. But End right-clicking away with the BKB. They still haven't got to the tomb just yet. So that is stacking up, but EHOME have already lost 2. Looks like Tusk going down over by the rune fight, and Vici Gaming once again coming out ahead.
Yeah, that was... Tusk was actually in the middle of that Sonic Wave that came out as well. And they're looking for CTY. The Fissure won't latch, but Vici Gaming just... Darkseer arriving at the right time, and Ice is kind of the reason that fight gets turned around. It was starting off a bit poor for Vici Gaming with Super and N kind of overcommitting there, but they're tanky enough. They have the sustain from the BKB and the Bristleback while doing Bristleback things that there's so much time for Ice to arrive. With a T1 tower in the bottom lane, EHOME were just fighting a bit too close to the Vici Gaming towers.
Yeah, and Bristleback has so much health as well. I think that was the... I'm gonna jump in. Echo Slam gets dropped on an Old Chicken. The vac as well. 11, I think, going in for the save with the snowball. Buys him a little bit of time. There's a silence on the FY. They pop out. Ice in the thick of things here, but not blocked in anymore by the Ice Shards. Are still working on the tower. But the Tombstone's stacking up. Kaka running into the middle of everything here. Super has his back turn, but is that going to be enough? Gets caught by the chains. Fenrir, does he have the grave? He does. He's going to save Super here in the midst of everything, but he's still getting ticked down. ZYF jumps into the middle there, and will just be brought down by the snowball. Bunch of heroes jumping in from EHOME. Super also slated to fall, and that's going to be 2 big cores dead for Vici, and everybody else scattering to the winds.
I mean, these are some crazy team fights with both teams having such tanky frontliners in the Viper and the Bristleback, and then just insane damage output with Queen of Pain, Darkseer, the teamfight wombo combo of Vici Gaming on the EHOME side. You've got the Skywrath, the Ember. And this one will go the way of EHOME. It still feels very back and forth between the two teams, and EHOME getting close to the Old Chicken BKB on Viper. He's the one in the front line, so the BKB will be very difficult to deal with and bring down. FY's Echo Slam was not... it was very much like, let's burst down this Viper and then we'll win anything that follows that fight, but they didn't actually bring down the Viper in time.
Yeah, it was even kind of reminiscent of what just happened bottom lane with EHOME going on the Bristleback and thinking that, oh, okay, we've got enough to, you know, keep whittling away at him to kind of get him out of the, take him out of the fight early, and just was not the case, and then the counter initiation ends up happening. But we're getting some more item pickups along the way as well in the midst of all this crazy fighting. There's a Force Staff up on Kaka, we've got the Battle Fury on CTY. As you're mentioning, Old Chicken getting very close to his BKB. And looks like we might not be done with the fighting just yet, as Vici heads straight into the Roshan pit. Pretty bold, but they do have their Sonic Wave, they do have their BKB available here.
And Viper's BKB not here. He's trying to just get that last creeper to in the bottom lane, and we'll be flying out on the Courier. And if that arrives in time, I think we'll see EHOME come in to contest it, but Roche is dropping pretty damn fast. The Sigil proving to be a bit of a nuisance, though.
Yeah, and there's the Tombstone on the high ground as well. This is a difficult place to fight. They're working on the Tomb on the high ground, and actually blinking up to deal with that, but Roshan in the meantime not taking any damage, and more heroes arriving soon. Super gets surged forward. They're actually looking for Kaka isolated off to the side, but the rest of the EHOME forces are going to come running in to the midst of everything. 11 trapped on the high ground, but he's still got the snowball to buy some time. The wall doing a little bit of damage. This fight's getting somewhat crazy. Ice dropping low, another shards comes out. 11 doing good work, but the EHOME heroes can't actually get into the pit to finish him off. He's blocked off, and comes in with the Sonic Wave. BKB, Old Chicken just going to stand and man fight here. Super doing the exact same. Fenrir, does he have a grave? No. It's already been used. That's going to be 2 cores down, and 2 for 2 so far this fight. Roshan still stands, and who is going to be left
and without
to claim
Bristle,
it?
they can't. Yeah, no Bristle, I guess no Viper as well, so neither team have any heroes to actually really finish Roche off with, despite how low it is. Whoa.
Yeah,
It was interesting, it was very split up, that fight. Clot was just chasing the Undying around, didn't actually kill him, but did prevent... I mean, Undying did, after his tomb died, he did not use a spell in that fight because of what the Queen of Pain did, and speaking of that, poor Undying gets thrown on a cliff, but does have a full staff to get down. So he's just kind of baiting around.
That's the value
Vici
G-Ward
for
one
now.
is up there.
Yeah.
As well.
Thanks for the pull. I'll take that.
Alright.
And Vici Gaming, I imagine, may head right back towards this Roche pit. EHOME will be forced to kind of linger around, and they may not be... They're actually in pretty good fighting shape. Tusk still, full HP and mana. He's got all his spells. Viper can also just instantly return, and we'll have a BKB once he gets back here.
Yeah.
There we go.
I really think the Queen of Pain play in that fight was probably what let Vici gaming down a little bit, because they'd already dealt with the Tombstone from the Undying, and Fenrir gonna get caught out bottom lane, not in a safe enough position. He's just gonna get bursted under the silence, but Vici were smoked, looking for more. They jump in, they're gonna drop the stuns onto Old Chicken and Kaka, and Old Chicken manages to pop off the BKB, but he's just getting right-clicked down. ZYF blinking a little bit further forward, is gonna look for more. They've also got the surged up Bristleback. 11 gets Glimmer Caped. He does have the blink at the ready, and as soon as the Queen of Pain leaps in, he is going to make his escape. So, 2 for 1, but this might mean that Vici Gaming are able to head in and finish up Roshan. They don't have the medallion from the Dazzle for another 10 seconds, but he's going to be back up soon, and there's a tier 1 tower waiting on bottom lane for him to TP in.
I'm looking to make another contest, though. They're sending in the Sigil for some vision, but I don't see this being possible without the Viper.
Yeah, I mean, it really looks like in this situation, best thing you can hope for is a CTY steal. FY in a little bit of trouble off to the side, but Ice with the wall, with the Vac, with the Greaves, helps keep him alive a little bit longer, and as ZYF comes jumping out, the Snowball buys a bit more space, but they've already lost the Skywrath Maid. Tusk manages to get the blink away, does not get hit by the Scream, but he's out of defensive options here. They have enough damage. We'll be able to bring him down before the Snowball ends. CTY trying for an Eternal NB play, goes in to try and finish up the Roche, but does not have nearly the farm that Envy had in that game. And now what's going to happen? Things are getting even crazier. Buyback from the Skywrath Mage. Roshan's still not dead. And
Viper's back.
what is happening here, gods?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, that was a question. I guess Earthshaker was like thinking they were going to go into Roshan, but positioning himself in the river was not the play. EHOME now, they're going to look to re-engage here. Super's going to be careful, and the Bristleback, he's getting very low early on. The Vacuum not going to succeed as Old Chicken's BKB. Super's going to need a grave soon. It comes out maybe half a second too soon, but at least it keeps him alive for now. Doesn't go for the TP. Instead, he's going to get surged back, healed back up as well. Nice ice on the low ground, caught up by a Searing Chain's Mystic Flare, goes down, and Super, he's back in, and without a grave this time, he's going to be very careful. He's trying to cut around, know that the Queen of Pain is back, but this is a Queen of Pain without a Sonic Wave, who's also silenced up. Blake, Echo, FY, catches out too perfectly. He's got a Fissure in a second here, going to lock in CTY, Blink Scream from End, and there we go. Finally, a team comes out on top of this Roshan fight, and it's Vici Gaming.
So 3 consecutive Roshan fights just to get the one Roche. FY with the patience, makes the plays.
That was almost a Roche snipe from the Ice Shards. I think it was just, didn't actually quite have the range on the Ice Shards.
Nice attempt.
And that was what I thought would happen last time. during the fight, except EHOME made the decision to jump on FY because of where he was positioned, which was just in kind of plain sight in the river. If he was positioned like further back on the around the Dire Ancients, I think it would have been a much easier place for him to make a counter initiation play from. But this time, Vici Gaming, make no mistake, they secure Roche.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it is going to be Vici Gaming coming out ahead, building up a net worth lead, building up an experience lead, going to grab some more items as well. ZYF has his Orchid up now. BKBs on both sides have been whittled down actually, have they been whittled down? I keep forgetting that the stupid pop-out doesn't show the BKB durations. I really wish it did.
Ah.
Yeah, I was like,
Viper and Quap
for 10 seconds,
both
but both
down
7
to 7 seconds.
Yeah. So that is showing up a little bit, but it's still relatively healthy for both of them. The Queen of Pain's much more reliant, obviously, than the Viper is, but she's got the edges.
I guess for Queen of Pain, it's just like you just want to get out of the Skyrath silence. There's like a snowball as well you'd maybe want to dodge, but for the most part, it's just like pop it as soon as you get Skyrath silence, and it doesn't matter if it's 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff goes through BKB anyways, like the Walrus Punch, the Ember damage.
Vici wasting no time putting this Aegis to use. Gonna start sieging away on top. Little bit early, perhaps. The Dazzle isn't here to keep them all topped off, so it looks like they're just gonna have to wait for him to arrive. Gonna have a Vlad's picked up as well here by Ice. It looks like Vici are really gonna start snowballing this on the offensive, especially with these last few item pickups.
That's very aggressive and very much wanting to fight now. I think I don't know if they've been catching some of the other Bristle games, but knowing that this hero will fall off, and I think late game EHOME with Viper Ember are actually going to have the superior late game. And that's where they want to get the Vlads, try and be able to take towers and win fights now and get the biggest possible advantage to keep the Bristleback relevant for as long as possible. Because it was, I think an Alliance game yesterday where a Bristleback had like 10 to 15k net worth ahead of the closest hero in net worth and still could not close out the game, could not win. And Alliance just kind of turtled up and managed to eventually win the game.
CTY, he remnanted away, but he's actually out of remnants now for 18 seconds, and Vici are hounding him. He might be able to get the silence. 11 actually blinked away already, thinking that CTY was going to be fine. And looks like he is. Move speed is going to be enough to get him out, but Vici once again pressuring forward onto another tower here as all 5 heroes arrive on mid. And we're gonna go! Jump in! Echo 2 down immediately! Mega kill for ZYF. Old Chicken also getting pummeled. The Weave minus armor stacking up. ZYF blinks in aggressively, gets a silence on the Kaka. And Vici gonna take this tower, no problem.
What a team fight. Vacuum Echo, that was beautiful. And EHOME just couldn't even react. They felt like, oh, we're positioned well enough here, but the vacuum just pulled them all together, and before they could react, it was just 2 heroes down. And even when it's 2 supports, like that just leaves the Viper too exposed to fight into a Bristleback Queen of Pain. And importantly, everyone on Vici was still healthy at the end of that.
Yeah, and they're just gonna keep on going. Glyphs already being used. I mean, it's relatively low respawns on both the Tusk and the Skyrath, but they're still working at this, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to get Vici to leave all that easily. CTY's already made his way back, gonna start laying out the slight damage. Old Chicken in some trouble, gets force-staffed a little bit further away, but it's not at a great angle, and he's just gonna get right-clicked down, it seems. No buyback up for this Viper, and VG, sensing blood in the water, gonna start pressing forward even further. Had an Orchid coming out. CTY not going to be able to throw another slight, just getting delayed here by YJ. I haven't been able to claim the melee barracks just yet. This Tombstone's doing work along with the Sigil.
I think if they heal back up, like Shadow Wave and Greaves, they'll go back in. Because with the Viper dead, they are so much stronger right now. And they're going to go in with the BKB Bristleback. He's looking for kills here. The Fissure is there. CTY's silence up. They got the damage to bring him out. No, he's going to get the Remnant out. Just barely escapes back to the safety of his own base. And Vici Gaming thinking themselves to back off a little bit here. Is this a re-engage? No, they're actually going to fully TP out, and just the range racks, despite having a 5v4 with Viper dead without buyback, they don't manage to get anything more.
Yeah, they've only got the 30 seconds remaining on Aegis as well, and it looks like a couple of them are sitting on quite a bit of current gold. Ice says 2.7k, Queen of Pain's got 3k, and the Earthshaker, in fact, is sitting at the top of the current gold chart right now. 3.3k. He's going to pick up a Shadow Blade here for FY, so I feel like this is maybe even just a little bit to hound the Ember Spirit some more and give them some more ways to catch him out, because it is going to be really important for CTY to keep split pushing keep farming and you know, start scaling further and further into the late game, since he is the big threat for EHOME here.
Yeah. Well, and like, on that point to explain, like, normally with just the Blink Dagger, your only initiation is a Blink Echo Slam, because both Totem and Fissure have cast time, so a good Ember Spirit will always Remnant away when he sees you try to Blink Totem him, but with the Shadow Blade, you Shadow Blade in, and you're guaranteed to, you can lead with a Totem or a Fissure while your teammates back you up. He will run into CTY here, but without the backup, he can't get this kill on his own.
There are some heroes moving into the vicinity, but it's more Radiant than Dire, and FY's in some trouble. Needs to survive a few seconds to get the Shadow Blade off. Looks like he might not be able to. Ice comes in with the Greaves, tries for the save, has Surge up in 1 second, but still gets caught out by the chains. And looks like it might actually be a couple of lives lost here. Side of his chains combo is off cooldown. C2I looking to lock down Ice is going to get it. TP comes in from Super, but the Mystic Flare is just going to drop Ice. And that's a double kill picked up by Kaka of all heroes. End of the day.
Yeah, FY, yeah, a bit cocky. I mean, he didn't expect to get scouted after the Shadow Blade wore off, and once he'd been spotted there, he needed a cooldown. And EHOME did not have detection as well, because that's the other thing with the Shadow Blade. It's going to force out a lot of sentries, gems to be purchased if they want to deal with it, and unfortunately for him, he just got caught at the wrong time with it on cooldown. Super also gets caught though around the Ancients.
Yeah, Super in a little bit of trouble. BKB. Does have a BKB, going to come running in. Looks like 11 just going to go for the TP out. He's fine. Super's rampaging into the middle of this, and ZYF arrives as well with his BKB active. Lamb's very low. One last cool spray going to finish him off, and taking some damage, but does manage to blink away to the side. C2I is going to give pursuit. Old Chicken running away from the Bristleback. Kaka doing the same, has a Force Staff in a couple of seconds, but he doesn't have a TP scroll at the moment. Just going to drop the Tombstone and try and live as long as he possibly can, but that is not long enough in the face of the Bristle, who does end up picking up a double kill end of this fight. Just support heroes, though, going down.
Yep. And the BKB is being used. Bristle now down to 8 seconds. Quap at 6. I believe Viper down to at least 6. No, he's down to 5 seconds as well. So these BKBs almost fully diminished in the form of the Bristle and the Queen of Pain and the Viper. And Bristle starting to chew through his a little bit as well. I think Vici Gaming, though, with the next Roshan, as well as possibly with something like an Assault Caress coming out for Super, will be in a good position to go for another high ground push. We're just not seeing the item progression that you kind of need to fight right now out of CTY. He needs that additional item on top of the Battle Fury Manta. You need to get the defensive item in the Manta against the Quap Orchid, but as a result, the high ground defense is somewhat just non-existent. He's actually got a Deso recipe. I'm not sure if he's going to complete this. I feel he's going to get a lot more out of a Daedalus, but if you get the Deso like earlier and you're snowballing as an Ember, it's a really nice item, but defending high ground, the Daedalus is just generally going to be a better pickup.
Yeah. From memory, I think he picked up a Deso recipe, like, you know, under duress, thinking that he was going to lose gold. So, I guess we'll see. I do definitely agree with you that the Daedalus is probably the better pickup. We might see Vici waiting a bit here. They're just about to pick up a couple of items, like you were talking about, and Roshan's not too far away, though. EHOME have given them a pretty hard time about trying to take Roshan in the past. 11's going to get caught at top lane. FY getting the solo kill on the Earthshaker. Old Chicken gets Force Staffed away and Glimmer Caped on mid, so looks like he's going to be alright. Yeah, Tusk goes down.
And it looks like that would be a tier 2 tower top, so not going to go for the riskier play on mid for the melee racks and just get what looks to be a free tier 2 here. That's a nice pickup. Getting a pickoff like that and then a tier 2 tower while you don't have Aegis at this stage of the game really benefits Vici Gaming a lot. It's just very efficient for them. Now they can look to fall back. Roche has already respawned, and they'll still linger around this mid lane, but it's going to be, I imagine, just a matter of time before they feel their lanes are pushed out sufficiently. They can just make a beeline towards that Roche pit.
Yeah, and they've already opened up the EHOME base entirely now, so if they get their hands on the Aegis, it could be big. Vici's actually going to jump in. They want the free melee backs here. They're going to see if EHOME are going to try and defend. And if they win this fight, this could be amazing. Old Chicken right-clicking away onto Super, but they've still got backup. The Weave armor is actually ticking up, and they've got the Greaves as well, so not really taking any damage from the Viper or from the Ember Spirit at the moment. They get the melee backs, now they're just trying to make their escape. FY gets brought down, but they vacuum 3 into the Sonic Wave. C2I gets bashed, trying to make his escape, doesn't have a Remnant up, gets the Manta off. Will he be able to make his way back up onto the high ground? Just barely gets enough mana to be able to make the jump. ZYF getting right-click down will actually end up falling. Old Chicken fighting against Super, who gets surged forward. Now Grave looking for more. Gets the double. It's 2 for 3 so far. And Vici, can they get everybody else out? Fenrir's actually really low. Well, not low, but kind of isolated here. Doesn't have a TP scroll. Wants to try and get out of here with this gem. Super's going to come in for the backup. Ice has Greaves at the ready once again. Another snowball out of 11. Not looking great for EHOME, but can they get everybody out? Blink away from 11. And that is going to be that, though. Still a great fight for Vici, and what a combo.
I mean, that was a little, like, looking at, like, late game, I'm thinking, oh, Bristleback going to get kited, but he's just getting surged around every fight. He's got this ridiculous damage output, and the Viper Strike and just general slows from Poison Attack Corrosive not slowing him down when he's getting these surges. He attacks a little bit slower than he otherwise would be, but the most important thing is he's at least attacking. And as a result, Vici Gaming just get kill after kill, and there's not really an answer to this Bristleback. He can even stay locked onto a Viper who just isn't as farmed or as scary as he needs to be. The successful Vipers we've seen lately have been like one of those top 1, top 2 net worth heroes, and right now Viper's sitting at number 5 on the net worth chart. Still trying to complete an AC, it looks like. And if this Viper had like an AC as well as like another item on top of that, yeah, I think EHOME would be able to take these fights a lot better, and unfortunately that's just not the case right now.
Yeah, it really seems for Old Chicken that this Midas maybe hasn't accelerated him in quite the way that he was hoping for.
Yeah.
You know, he's been sitting on a lot of gold in the last couple of fights as well, and so it's showing up in his net worth, but not really showing up in his effectiveness at the moment. And
And having to go for the BKB, it probably was a necessary item. You're against Dark Zero, Shaker, and all that, but like the very successful Vipers like Fat has been playing it for Liquid in their best of 5 win against Empire was very much going for more carry or like pure carry oriented items. It was going like Manta, AC, Heart of Terras. So it wasn't, I mean, carry as well as tank items. So you could do good damage output and stay alive. The BKB gives you a small window where you're magic immune, but once it's worn off, you're not getting anything out of the item compared to having like a Manta or a Heart of Terras. So partially the problem is that he's fallen off, and then the other part is just
Crit Shaker doesn't have the enchant totem up.
He's actually got
he wants some
crit.
backup. He's just hoping. He's
got it
asking
in the
for
form of the
backup right
dazzle.
now, but no, never mind.
Last time we went for a play like that, things suddenly kind of went against Vici Gaming. That was when him and Ice both died.
Yeah, they don't have a ton of vision, and it is to EHOME's credit they've been doing a really good job of keeping their side of the map dewarded whenever Vici kind of make an expedition over towards the Radiant base. So they still have some relatively safe areas to farm, and I think that's a big part of the reason why FY doesn't try and make any kind of play there. Doesn't really know where all of EHOME are. Lamb tries for the TP.
Oh,
Oh,
they
but
got
the
the
Hex! Is that that's an
Just
Ice Hex.
in time.
Oh my word.
Yeah, the Glimmer just wore off and he got the Hex off. That was just right at the last millisecond. There's 2 Hexes on this Vici side, both Quap and Darkseid with a Hex. Quap not a big surprise, but yeah, Ice is filthy rich this game.
Yeah, I knew that the Queen of Pain had a Hex, and I was like, I saw the Hex and I thought, oh, the Queen of Pain just arrived in time, but no, it's actually Ice who's managed to pick that one up. So yeah, he is crazy farmed. He's had a really good game actually.
Yeah, to me, I think he's almost like been the somewhat MVP so far for Vici Gaming. He's really come up when they've needed him, as far as a lot of the fights that they've won. And see, Vici Gaming look to break high ground. They've got an Aegis in hand, and it's defending this bottom lane very difficult.
Ice back in. They're only going to get the Echo Slime on 1. It's 11, but the Fisher still manages to catch Kaka out a little bit further back. They use their 2 Hexes, I believe, here. Old Chicken's just getting right-clicked down. Cannot stand in the face of the Bristleback. CTY doing his best in the midst of this fight. A couple of buybacks going to start coming out. FY gets Grave and surged a little bit further away back to safety. Ice also trying to escape. CTY comes back with another big sided fist, but Super's still tanky on the front lines, and the Queen of Pain still has this Aegis. The Hexes are cooling down right now, and that has to be a concern. CTY in the midst of everything needs to be careful, does have a remnant to escape, but trying to live life on the edge in the patch of fog behind the tree, and gonna right-click away onto Old Chicken. He's just getting worked away at by the weave. Once again, huge vacuum, nice Grave, and will just not go down, and even if he does, he's got the Aegis. They will finally lose Super, but the costs for EHOME are heavy, but they still hold.
It's still a hold for now, yeah. They've killed off Bristle and Shaker, though, so they're actually going to hold a Rax against an Aegis push. It was a bit of a heavy cost having to go through the Viper buyback and well, dieback in that case, but ultimately holding a Rax against what looked like possibly a game-ending push is that's the outcome EHOME were hoping for. Just being able to hold, being able to just buy themselves some more time to get CTY another item. CTY gets a huge amount of gold out of that fight. He actually farmed up a Desolator, and then with that he gets another 3 to 4k gold. He can go back for that Daedalus, and if they can just drag this game out, Vici Gaming's lineup eventually will start to fall off, I feel.
Yeah. The danger of the Hexes are still there, but they do have the potential Tusk counter-initiation, so If 11 is on point, might be able to save CTY, and yeah, the damage is definitely going to start ramping up once he starts looking at this Daedalus. Or I guess the game is still close enough where maybe you don't consider a rapier just yet, but
I think it's close enough.
yeah.
And you've got your teammates still getting items. It's not like your teammates are completely out of the game. Viper's going to have the AC soon, so that will help out.
Is he?
Old Chicken.
Oh yeah, he is. All right. I thought after that buyback he might be a bit far away, but
He's had these exact same items for like 20 minutes now. It's actually, he had a ridiculously fast Treads Mech BKB. He was probably number 1 or number 2 next to the Bristleback and net worth, but he's fallen off tremendously. But he's been this close to like the AC for a long time, and the problem is he just wanted to save a little bit of money for a buyback for the high ground defense. So now with buyback on cooldown, I guess he can buy out all his items.
Regeneration.
CTY picks up a Demon Edge, so most likely we'll see the Daedalus come out. Doesn't have to worry about any evasion for the time being.
yeah, there is a Solar Crest on the Dazzle, but that's the extent of it. And even then, I don't know if MKB is all that impressive. 11, not going to get gooed. Super actually goos up the creep there. Coming around the corner, 11 trying to make his escape, but the Blink is still on cooldown, and he's going to get hexed up, locked down, and brought down. Does have buyback available. Let's see if Vici are gonna... I think they're at least gonna try and squeeze this buyback out of him by pushing the bottom lane.
This is still a risky push to go for. High ground defensive EHOME we've seen already, and this time there's no Aegis. Viper's got the Assault Cuirass. Last time was very much a Viper buyback that helped propel them back into the fight.
They've got the weave stacking up. Ultra not going to do too much. It's an immediate buyback. The vacuum in onto 3, but where's the follow-up? Nothing just yet. Sonic Wave's going to catch a few, but Lamb's still fairly tanky and stuck in the middle of all of this. Fenrir close enough for a grave if required. Old Chicken being focused down first. They know that he won't be able to buy back, so they eliminate the Viper immediately. Nice, meanwhile, just sitting off to the side. Super going to keep on working. 11 trying to stall this out. Super actually getting dropped extremely low by the Mystic Flare. Grave a little bit preemptive, but at least being safe. Ice, now the one in some trouble. There's a Glimmer Cape. Is there going to be enough damage from the CTY cleave? Another vacuum into the Echo Slam. FY with the patience. Finds a second kill here. CTY still going to work with the Slight. Another jump away towards the Remnant, but do they have the catch? End jumps forward. Does not have the Orchid. It's on cooldown for another couple of seconds. Kako with another 4 staff away. But EHOME are looking battered and bruised. And they're going to head back to the fountain as Vici claim that second laner acts here.
I can't believe Ice gets out there. Like, that's just ridiculous. He just hides himself on the high ground and then blinks out as the Arcane Bolt's about to hit him.
And another vacuum comes in into the Fissure from the side. FY. That has got to be it. No buybacks left in it.
He just finds like these 2-3 hero vacuums to start off every single fight. And then it's followed up by the FY Fissure onto multiple heroes. Like, every single fight is just Ice leading the way with these vacuums.
And the other terrifying thing is that FY is reading these fights so well that, you know, it's not rushing in every single vacuum. It was the second vacuum that fight where he really chose to commit in and use the Echo, and that was the nail in the coffin for EHOME. But still a pretty close game overall. I feel like EHOME just didn't expect how well Vici were going to be able to fight in the early to mid game, because you look at their lineup, you look at the plan that they had all the way through the draft, and it was very much, alright, our plan from the word go is that we're going to 5-man, we're going to fight in the early to mid game. And they tried to deny Vici the heroes that would be, you know, that would cause them issues with that strategy, but Vici still find a really solid composition to just go brawl against them 5-on-5.
I think of some of those mid-game fights. I mean, those mid-game fights were ridiculously close. Like, that Roche fight was like 3 to 4 separate fights that could have gone either way. I mean, let's just say EHOME somehow squeak out on top of that, get themselves an Aegis for Viper. Viper would not have fallen off. It was very much that sequence of fights at the Roche where Viper died once or twice, and then suddenly it was Vici Gaming getting Aegis and able to take a couple of towers as well as push the mid lane off of that. I feel the biggest problem for EHOME was that the Viper fell off, which only happened because of 1 or 2 fights that were really 50-50 that they just happened to lose. So I think this game was actually very neck and neck. If Viper managed to just get up the AC and the Heart of Tarrasque, like another item, while Vici Gaming got slowed down a bit more, this was a very different game. It was just the fact that Super just got a little bit out of hand at the end and had the Darkseer making all the plays around him that set so much up. So very, very close game in the end, despite Vici Gaming seemingly just somewhat methodically going from one lane to the next with Aegis. I don't think it was quite as straightforward as that for them.
Yeah, and it was a good game. It was a close game, and it's only game one of a best of 5, so we still have lots more action to enjoy moving forward. So I think that about wraps it up for game one, and let's get to it. I don't know if Winter is around now, so I don't know if he's going to be joining me.
Yeah, he's here. He'll be joining for game 2 and all.
Right,
so
awesome.
He's arisen.
Nice. Finally around. So I'm going to be joined by Winter for game 2, guys. Stick around. We'll see you soon. So did you catch much of game one?
Yeah, half of it. I
Nice.
watched half of it.
Nice. So,
I felt like CTY was not very comfortable on Amber though. He missed like so many combos, like the slight chains.
yeah, there was one that I noticed around the Roshan pit when he was chasing after Fenrir on the Dazzle, and
And that was not the
dropped
only
a
one.
combo.
He missed a lot. Like he was very obvious that he's not comfortable on the hero.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate. I think there were a couple of other things that went wrong for EHOME, of course, but yeah, you gotta have everyone feeling comfortable. Speaking of comfort and speaking of swapping out people, Vici Gaming have put YJ back on the bench for game 2 here, as it looks like Burning's gonna be stepping back in, and Vici Gaming showing no fear as they once again let that 11 Tusk through into the pool, but EHOME also not gonna hesitate as they snap that up for themselves.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think it was like mostly they didn't really want to, you know, ban other heroes, and they wanted to leave like the Tusk and the Queen in the pool so they get like each one. You don't want to give Tusk and Queen to EHOME, so then CTY will have his hero. I
Yeah.
think 11 has just more like heroes that are here. He's more comfortable with. I rather like ban out the CTY heroes or just snatch the heroes that he's more comfortable with. I
Do you
think
like
Queen is
the-
probably his best hero.
Yeah. Do you like the continued bans on the Spirit Breaker? I think it's been very good for EHOME in the past. Vici have been very insistent on banning this, and I guess the other thing is that it's a hero that's really hard to play against as the Queen of Pain in a lot of situations. So do you think that kind of factors into the decision as well, that they've been angling for this Queen of Pain pickup early on?
I'm not very sure, but I feel like SB is just one of those heroes that changes a lot of the way you have to play in the mid lane, regardless if you're a Queen or you're any other hero. It's very difficult to play in the middle lane. And SB is like one of the comfort heroes for Kaka as well. He likes to play SB and Phoenix on his 4 position. So, you know, and it limits their early game ability. Like, Tusk plus SB early game could be very hard to deal with, because they just run at you and they just win their lanes and pressure you a lot.
Yeah, and that was the angle that EHOME kind of tried in the previous game. So we'll have to see if they're going to stick to their guns here, or if they are going to mix things up as we move into game 2. Vici Gaming with the relatively early Winter Wyvern grab, and EHOME not going to choose to get rid of the Darkseer here, despite what I thought was an amazing
surprised.
performance from Ice 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 in the previous game. Instead, they get rid of the Darkseer and the Broodmother, the Clockwork and the Broodmother. But that's going to potentially leave the Darkseer through, because Vici have the pick coming out of this phase. So if they want it, they can take it.
It might actually signal the fact that the Lina is mid laner. Because if you want to run a core Lina is very weak versus Clockwork. So that might actually give it away that the Lina has a very high chance of going mid. Because usually Lina, you don't want to deal with the Clockwork if you want to go mid, usually. So maybe that's the thought process of what they want to do with the Lina this game. I'm not sure though, I'm with you. I think Darkseer plus Wyvern plus Queen is very hard to deal with.
Yeah, it's very potent, and this is a pretty important moment here for Vici as they get a ban into a pick, kind of one of the strongest moments that they're going to get in the draft. So this is a fairly important decision. They do choose to ban out the Dazzle as well, which I like. It can be, especially when you've got kind of the Winter Wyvern and the Queen, and especially the Queen of Pain. Just as a hero in general, she's very reliant on kind of arriving to a fight and just immediately eliminating somebody before they get all of their spells off, and the Dazzle can always be really annoying counterplay for that. So I like the Dazzle ban from that perspective. Also, EHOME tend to be kind of aggressive, kind of 5-manny, and they don't have any sustain really in the lineup just yet. So the Dazzle could have been something that they look towards to kind of keep that push going, kind of keep those early to mid-game skirmishes running.
Oh, they're thinking a long time though. Maybe they actually want something else. There's still Slada. They didn't pick. Slada wasn't picked or banned, right? The last game.
Are they worried it's a trap? Like, they leave the Darkseer and then they take Anti-Mage or something? Because the AM's pretty good against Quap and DS? Or is that not EHOM's style?
I mean, maybe they were considering that, but at the same time, AM is not like one of the heroes that, if I'm EHOM's captain, I wouldn't put CTY on Anti-Mage. I would want to put him on like a Slug or like Queen of Pain Slug, or even like I feel like Ember is his type of hero, but he doesn't play it well. I'm not sure why. Maybe he just doesn't like to play the hero, but I feel Ember is a hero that fits his playstyle.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I
remaining.
feel like they have been picking it for him a decent amount, so...
A few times, I only see a few times, and most of the games they lost. So
Not
he,
convinced?
it feels like maybe he's not like he doesn't like to play. It's either he doesn't like to play the hero or he doesn't play the hero a lot.
I kind of just want to look at his pub profile, honestly. Because I feel like that would be a little bit telling, right? If you like playing a hero, you like playing it in pubs as well. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
to
I
a
don't want to
certain
read into it
extent.
too much. I'm
To a
gonna
certain
have a
extent,
look.
yes.
I'm curious.
But you know, sometimes you maybe you play not so much in pubs, but you play a lot of the hero in scrims,
True.
so you can't tell.
Yeah, that can be tough.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, he's got a couple of Ember games, but yeah, it's not on.
Oh.
Not in the most played all time.
So,
by-
so they
by
go
any
for
means.
they go for the Slada still with the Visage. It's really good. I was gonna say they are gonna have a very good setup for the Slada this game since they have Visage. It's either Visage or Wind Ranger. You see a lot with Slada recently. I think Visage not every team does it. Maybe VP does it a lot more because they put Lil on Visage
Yeah, so,
quite often.
So I guess are we looking at offlane Slardar here, and then whatever's handling the safe lane is going to be able to maybe jungle relatively early, give the lane to the Visage somewhat.
Yeah, I think so. Like in the past that I think I mentioned, I'm not sure if I was casting you, I mentioned that Slada needs some help. But recently I played a lot of Slada in pubs, and I realized that even if you don't receive the help, like a Lich in a lane or Earthshaker Freezer in your lane, it's not too bad. Because you can still, like, remember the game you were watching, Slada level 3, you can still gank
Yeah,
and
you can
know,
still
run
do
around.
stuff. Like yeah,
You can do, yeah, you can still do stuff without the blink, so it's actually not that bad. At the start, when I was watching a lot of the players play, like some teams didn't really make the offlane Slada work, but now I tried it. Like I copied certain way of Misery playing it. So and I felt like you don't exactly need too much help. Actually, you need some help later, not some space to farm your blink,
10 seconds
but it's not
remaining.
like he's gonna be a useless hero when he doesn't have blink. He can still offer a lot
Yeah.
for his team.
It feels a little bit similar to the old kind of offlane alchemist that we used to see, and I think it was in particular
Wow.
for whatever reason like
That
Xiao
was-
playing offlane
That
alch.
was a very long time
Right?
ago.
It was a very long time ago, but I know that you remember Winter, so that's why I bring it up. But running the offlane Alk, and even if you only got level 2, level 3, could just smoke up, run mid, throw a concoction, run down to the safe lane.
that
get a
was
gank,
with the
yeah.
old stun. The stun was really good.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels like it's a kind of a similar thing with the Slardar here, like you were saying. It doesn't even matter really if he gets bullied really hard, and looks like he is in. He's going to be the recipient of some pretty hard bullying from EHOME here, especially with the Disruptor pickup, but like you said, we hope that he's going to still be able to move around and get things done. The one thing I really worry about for EHOME here is that they lack ways to protect the Gyrocopter or the Lina. So if Vici Gaming get the initiation
Snowball.
here, I think it's going to be tough. Yeah, the Snowball is good, but I'm still worried about the Gyrocopter being bursted. I don't know how he's going to be able to tank
Yeah,
that,
I
but
agree.
We'll have to see.
I can see where you're coming from. Like stun from the Slada, then the Sonic Wave comes out. They don't have a hero that can actually make sure the Gyrocopter survives the ordeal.
10 seconds
And right now
remaining.
Vici has a very strong like timing lineup. You wanna get Roche with the Slada plus Lycan, then you keep pushing when you have the Aegis, and hopefully Visage has an Aghanims around minute 20 to 25, then you wanna end the game at that point. So I'm curious to see how they actually lane this though. Maybe it's just gonna be Queen of Pain mid and Lycan safe lane. I can't imagine them putting Lycan mid if the Lina is going mid. It's gonna be a very tough matchup for Lycan.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure though.
yeah, we'll have to see. I do like, again, as we were just talking about, the idea of, okay, the Lycan's going to get a little bit of farm initially, and then he can just, once he's got, even just, like, QB, Stout, Bassi, he can start even moving into the jungle with a couple of points in Wolves, and free things up for FY to start taking some farm.
Yeah, so by the way, the Clockwork ban is because they wanted to pick Gyrocopter, not for the Lina going mid.
Yeah. And the Dazzle ban makes even more sense in the context of what Vici kind of went on to pick up as well, I think, with the
Yeah.
Visage and the Slardar. But
So the Dragon Knight is sort of they wanted a mid hero that has armor that can deal with the Sada, and you can play a bit more fast pace with the Dragon Knight to take towers. So you can actually take a team fight very early with the Gyrocopter cooldown and obviously with the Disruptor ultimate as well. They have two very big AoE
10
spells.
seconds remaining.
Whereas if you look at Vici Gaming's lineup, they are more, single
5
target
seconds
bursts,
remaining.
except for the Sonic Wave. The rest of the heroes are more, focused on taking out one singular target.
Yeah, and as we were saying, when there aren't a huge number of ways to
Prepare
save your
for
cores on the lineup aside from Snowball, it's kind of nice to have somebody like Dragon Knight who can take some punishment and kind of stick around and keep on doing stuff.
Yeah,
So
he's like the mid shield for CTY this game.
yeah. Also pretty good at potentially catching out the Lycan if this, for whatever, or the Queen of Pain if this potentially starts becoming a little bit more split push focused. I mean, we've been seeing a lot more Blink Dagger Dragon Knight as of late, so I guess we'll have to.
Yeah,
keep an eye out for
I
that.
think he usually goes for the blink most of the time. Like sometimes I see him go drums first, power trades drums, then blink. Sometimes I see him go just blink with trades. But most of the time he goes blink.
Yeah.
Like some players might actually go for Shadow Blade, like in certain games. Maybe if you want the Silver Edge versus a particular hero like Bristleback or like a
30
Huskar.
seconds to battle.
It feels like you have to have the right kind of start. The one thing that I will say is that we, shortly after the patch dropped and Glimmer Cape was released, we were seeing a couple of people trying out Dragon Knight starting with a Glimmer Cape and then disassembling it and going into a Shadow Blade a little bit later, and that's maybe something that we could see again, though it might be unlikely
is that
this
in
game.
is that in the official match or just pubs?
I think
Oh, Lamb.
I think I've seen it in like
Oh,
one
Lamb.
official, but it may have just been some SCA game. Lamb runs up the hill, was not expecting Ice and Fenrir just to be waiting up there. That's an easy first blood for Ice.
One more kill? Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that was an unusual spot for them to, like, you don't really expect that to happen. Like, they were camping at a position where they were expecting the supports to be rotating top. The idea is you stay there and hopefully you catch a support that is helping the team secure the bottom rune and they're on their way back to the top lane. And you get an easy kill there. So that was very unexpected from Vici and it worked out very well for them.
Yeah, they scouted the 4-man rotation into their jungle, and I think that's part of the reason why Fenrir and Ice decided, okay, we're safe to wait up on this hill because EHOME are gonna start arriving towards the top lane at very different times, and it's only gonna be the supports wandering past. The Gyrocopter
Yeah.
was heading towards top, so good read and easy first blood for them to start things out.
I mean, it's not gonna happen all the time, but it's still a very good read for them. But right now, so the Wyvern has helped middle, obviously with one Arctic Burn like usual, all the time, and he's going to go towards top though, making this a dual lane with the Sala. So they are indeed actually going to help the Sala at the start, making sure that he gets some farm and some levels first.
Yeah, and we are going to be seeing
again?
Burning Crop in the safe lane. Oh, jumping in, a little bit of trouble for Lamb, gets crushed, and that's just going to be more right clicks. Wow, Fenrir is making
Wow,
stuff happen.
That was really, really easy for them to kill the Disruptor. He was at full HP. They basically just used one Crush and one Arctic Burn and he's dead. This is actually very worrisome for EHOME. Because Disruptor you want to be able to pull and you don't want to die and you just want to keep getting experience on the hero because he's very weak. Like I mentioned, Disruptor is a hero that's very weak versus two heroes, but he's very good versus one hero. So maybe that's the main reason why they actually allocated the Wyvern towards the top lane to pressure the Disruptor. Since they know it's a 2-1-2 setup from EHOME.
Yeah, they've already seen heroes down towards bottom 11. Finds 2-minute haste runes are some of the dumbest things in Dota, but anyway. 11's gonna come running in towards mid lane here. They're gonna look for this kill on Super. Kaka setting up as well. Super's suspicious. He doesn't know what the rune was bottom, but has to have some kind of idea that weird things are happening since Kaka is still sticking around his mid lane right now. So just playing back, gonna farm with the wolves a little bit, and looks like Kaka's not 11's not gonna be able to do anything with that haste.
Oh, they're gonna look to get Kaka here. He might actually go down.
Doesn't get the stun off.
he
Nice
didn't get
size with
stunned?
the crush. No, didn't
yeah,
get
he's
stunned.
dead.
Managed to dodge it. One more auto attack.
Just look at Slada. Just look at that. That was just Slada. Like, with all of Venom.
Yeah. A little bit of help
Is he
from the
gonna
owl,
be able to
but
set up
still.
a kill? And mid, is he gonna be able to get this kill? Huh. Not very sure. Dragon Knight is quite tanky. He has a bracer?
They're still in a bit of trouble. The Wolves are doing good damage. Ice comes running in. It's only the 1 point in the crush. They get the TP out of Kaka, but Ice is still gonna lay in a few more auto attacks.
Wow, he has a bracer? He bought a bracer after the bottle? Oh yeah. That might actually save his life though. If he had boots, maybe he would have still died there. So,
Dire's bottom tower
value
is
bracer,
under
but
attack.
meanwhile Tusk actually went down at bottom lane.
Yeah, and it was just, well, at least from the fight recap, it was just Burning kind of chasing him down. I don't know, maybe if he... Oh my god, Ice is going nuts! It's a solo kill on the gyrocopter. What is happening this game, Winter? 3-0-1, less than 4 minutes into the game. Ice is thriving right now.
Yeah, that move, you know, the first bird actually set up everything
Radiant
for the
structures
Slada for the whole
fortified.
game. Because his momentum began to roll so quickly, so early on. He has boots and our venom, that's why he has so much chances to kill the supports that are caught alone. Because he has so much movement speed from the early boots plus sprint. Now he has Earn as well, so he's gonna look to be really, really active on the
Burning
map.
used his blink to get the rune. 11 might be able to chop him down. Oh no,
Oh,
the
the
Grave Chill's slow, the auto
Oh
attacks.
my god!
He's gonna fall 6-0 the lead for Vici Gaming.
Oh, mid lane. Look at Daryl. Daryl's coming in from
He's
behind.
coming in from under the tower. No way to escape for Old Chicken. They are just getting pummeled right now. EHOME will finally get a kill on the board as they do manage to take down the Winter Wyvern top. Looks like a glimpse, but Lamb was very low for that. Looks like maybe not even a glimpse, but at least get on the board now.
That is just Slada, how to use Slada so well in the early stage of the game with the sprint. He's not even maxing the crush. I think I see a lot of players doing this as well. I think maxing the sprint is actually really good now. Because you run around so quick, you just keep using the sprint to travel around the lanes. Because the crush, if you look at the scaling of the crush, is actually not that as significant at each level.
Yeah,
The stun duration increased by about 0.3. The damage is okay, 50 damage.
but you know, you go faster, you get more auto attacks off. It stacks up. So
Yeah,
I like this build.
it allows you to keep chasing, and you know, in a certain way that it helps you get farm because you travel around the map faster and you waste less time.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't see it's not obvious how much it helps you, but it does help a lot.
in the exact same way that people call Blink like
top
kind
lane.
of a farming item. Fenrir's gonna get
Yeah,
dove here. Is he
oh,
gonna get over the trees? He gets into the fog. C2I, bit of trouble. Fenrir needs to be careful about what he does here. He actually gets out of the fog, gets hit by the Thunderstrike, but does have some stick charges. Looks like that's going to be enough to keep him alive. C2I tanking a decent amount of damage there. Is there actually any regen left in this lane? This could be super dangerous. There are two low HP heroes. Burning's got a TP scroll. He's got the Sonic Wave. There is a lane ward down, so I might not be able to do anything.
Dude,
But
by the
Burning
way,
is looking
look
for
at the
rotation.
look at the Slada. By the way,
Oh,
he's
man.
gonna place wards for his team.
I mean, he's fast. Why not? He's
Yeah,
he's got
why
the
not?
opportunities.
They're just showing how much you can get out of this hero in the early laning phase. This is exactly what you want to do with the Slada, with the sprint.
Yeah, and this is a fourth pick. They've gotten so much value out of the Slider, and well, EHOME trying to come back a little bit. They get a double damage on the Lina. They're using the
Super.
Dragon Knight ultimate to try and get this tower down on mid. RVG going to be able to get the deny? No, Super wants to turn this around. Goes in with the ultimate. 11's in some trouble. He does have the snowball. Good counter initiation of Kaka. Gets the stun down. Super's still healthy. The Dragon Tail was on cooldown for one more second. It's going to be turned over onto FY instead, who nukes down one with the Soul Assumption. Dragon Knight taking a spell. FY, one last auto attack. Not going to be enough to kill him. He runs back in, however, to drop another Soul Assumption. Won't be able to get the auto attack off. 11 wants this kill. He's got another Ice Shards, but it doesn't hit Super. And he's just going to keep on right-clicking. They do finally lose FY, but
Oh, here
still a
comes
really
Burning.
good fight for VG.
Here comes
and,
Burning.
Burning arrives to finish the kill.
Well, excellent teamwork from the whole team, though. Vici, everyone was like they knew their limits as well. FY, he dropped as much nukes as possible for his hero, and he took like the maximum amount of damage as well.
Yeah.
I think one of the auto attacks from the Disruptor missed. That's why it allowed the Visage to actually drop another extra nuke out. That was rather unfortunate.
Yeah, because he started running back in, and I was like, oh, he's just gonna tank creeps and die. I'm like, is this
Yeah.
a miss micro? Wait, he doesn't even have familiars. Oh no,
He
he
just
knows
wants to go
exactly
in.
what he's doing. Yeah, he just wants to get one
Yeah,
more
he-
Soul Assumption off. Oh man. And I even
things
thought
are
EHOME
looking-
coordinated that really well, because the Tusk held off on the snowball because he knew that the Lina was going to stun, and kind of gave them more opportunity to set up and look for the turnaround. But unfortunately, the Dragon Tail was just a second off cooling down, and they weren't able to get the kill on the
Top lane, haste on the queen.
Oh, this is so dangerous. You see why he's just going to get blown up. They even commit the Sonic Wave just to make sure that the counter initiators can't get in here in time.
Oh, I thought they knew he was coming though, because his team was smoking in. They got a return kill, but this is worth it for Vici Gaming.
Fenrir doesn't manage to shot before he dies, got chain stunned.
Yeah,
100%.
I think they saw the queen with this ward in the middle lane. He was running top, so they knew that they were going for the gyrocopter, and they smoked immediately. But they were just too late to the scene, so they weren't able to actually help the gyrocopter.
This is the concern that we were talking about, Winter, that
Radiant's top tower
the
is
gyro
under
might
attack.
get bursted. I mean, of course, there are extenuating circumstances. Vici are really far ahead
Dire's
at the
middle
moment,
tower is
but
under attack.
Oh, mid lane, Kaka.
gets the stun off onto Burning, but Super's running in. Gonna let the Wolves do the work here because they've got the Sting as well. Burning, still 7 seconds on cooldown for the
Oh,
Blink.
he's stuck.
Is he going to be able to get out here? He's just getting right-clicked at. Snowball damage. Glimpse back a little bit further. Almost made it out there.
That glimpse actually was, I think, pretty important though. Otherwise, he might have actually gotten the blink out because it cancelled his animation, so he had to recast the blink.
Old Chicken in the meantime gonna also end up going down on top.
Oh dear, that is the hero that we were talking. Oh, this hero is probably harder to take down with the armor. Oh dear,
It's like,
that is not good at all.
at least he'll be a little bit more survivable, but not. 11 comes running in, but he actually needs to be careful. Ice
my God.
is still in the neighborhood. Gonna get the crush off. Punch attempted from 11, but it's just gonna be a dominating streak. And 2 more urn charges for Ice. End of the day. This game is snowballing out of control, Winter.
You know, this all started with the first kill. It all started with the first kill because Starla got the first bird, right? He started with boots, then he bought all of Venom after that. And then he had very quickly because he was able to get another kill on the Disruptor, remember? When
Yep.
Disruptor went back to the lane, he died again. And then it all snowballed out of control because the Starla was so strong in the early game. Just one kill, and it's like a chain of events happen after that. A domino effect.
Dire's
And
top tower is under
EHOME now
attack.
kind of even struggling to maintain control over this side of the map. Vici are being so aggressive with these wards. They're seeing anyone who arrives at top lane from either direction, so they know exactly who's under the tower, and I don't even know what EHOME can do. They're not being given any time to rest.
He plays both of these wards, right? The Slada.
No, one is Ice, and this one is Fenrir. The
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
remember
can just check
he
who
was
owns
holding.
it.
I remember he was like holding on to 2 wards, like helping his team place wards with screen as well.
Yeah. Well, EHOME, they're gonna try and make some more moves. They've got to smoke up. They don't have the Laguna Blade here. 11's looking for
Oh, bottom
Burning.
lane.
Snowball comes in. They got the punch. They got the follow-up. And they will be able to get the kill. EHOME at least starting to make some kind of a dent, but still a very dangerous situation for them right now.
He is actually going for 4 stuff on the Slada first.
Yeah, do you
I
like
think
this
so.
more than the Blink, or?
Yeah, it's very helpful because Slada doesn't have a lot of mana. Like, his items, if you are going for the Blink Rush, you are very constrained in terms of your mana pool. If you go for the 4 stuff first, then your mana pool is fine because of the staff.
Radiant's bottom tower
And usually
is
you go
under
for
attack.
it against 2 heroes, against the Tusk and the Clockwork, if you want to go for early 4 stuff.
Yeah, it's even helpful against, like, potentially breaking the chain of initiation between a Dragon Tail into a Light Strike
Yeah.
array or something like that, so I like it for saving teammates. I think the other big thing is you can take your Cold Embrace teammates and you can force staff them back towards your team. So
Yeah, it
lots of
definitely
other
has a
utility.
lot of utility this game, and it solves like Slada's main problem in the early game, which is his mana.
Radiant's bottom
So if
tower
you're
is
EHOME
under
here, what do you
attack.
do, Winter? Do you just have to keep trying for these little pickoffs with the Tusk and the Lina?
Radiant
I
structures
mean, they are still
are
making
fortified.
progress. They're taking down some towers, they're forcing out glyphs, but the DK's item progression isn't crazy, and VG are also pushing really hard as well.
Dire's top tower is under
I think they need to be able to win a team fight with the Dragon Knight getting his blink, or either the Roche fight happens and Dragon Knight doesn't have a blink. They don't have a choice. They need to take that fight and they have to win that fight. If they let the Lycan get the Roshan, It's gonna be very difficult. Oh my god, Lamb, is he gonna die to the urn?
Might
Wait,
be
shit.
enough. There's like 3 ticks, 2 ticks.
Oh my god,
Nah,
if the wolf
not
if the
quite.
wolf got one more click on him, he's dead. Holy
Yeah, if
shit, that was
the wolf had
good.
gotten one more hit with the amplified damage, that would have been... That really would have been that. On EHOME, they're wandering in here, but they need to be a little bit careful. Old Chicken...
They have vision. They saw them running in.
Old Chicken comes running in. He thinks he's tanky, but is he tanky enough? The amplified damage going to work. Good familiars drops from FY as well, and Old Chicken all of a sudden not looking so great. Gets the Dragon Tail off. Good counter initiation against Ice Ice Ice, and with the sprint active, that Laguna Blade is going to hurt. He gets brought down burning. Didn't go blinking in. Will just be able to escape after the glimpse. That point booster health, I think, really coming up big for him there.
He waited for so long though. I think his teammates were expecting the Queen of Pain to actually jump in and unload her spells, but she was really scared that if she blinks in and she gets stunned, she dies right away. So maybe miscommunication. Like he didn't really want to go in, and his teammates were like running in. So they were not on the same page in that engagement. I think he didn't feel comfortable though. If he blinks in and he gets caught in the static storm, he's just gonna die.
Yeah, I think he was really hoping that Ice 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 was going to be able to get the crush off.
Yeah, but he wasn't able. Oh, mid lane.
C2I in some trouble, got Winter's Cursed up, he's not all that tanky, Super's gonna tear through him, and this is definitely a kill for Vici. Fenrir has not been very merciful to the poor Gyrocopter with these Winter's Curses so far.
Why should he be merciful?
No
You have to
reason
shut down
whatsoever.
CPR. Yeah. Oh no, here comes the Roche. Oh dear. This is really bad for EHOME. Because this timing is very it's again it's very hard for them to contest without the gyro, and Dragon Knight doesn't have his blink yet. They're still gonna try though, like I mentioned. I think they need to be able to take this fight and win. But they're gonna be too late.
The amplified damage is going to make it way too fast. The Gyrocopter is not going to be able to get back into. They do manage to block in a few, but Ice 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 has a Force Staff. Super is still trapped. Kaka drops some damage onto Burning, but he tanks through it all. He's still got the Aegis, and EHOME approaching this fight from a whole bunch of different angles. It's just going to end up with them being split up and brought down.
Yeah, they're just way too poor right now on their course. The gyro and the Dragon Knight. They don't even have their first set of items on the Dragon Knight and the gyro. Like the first key item, like the blink or even the SNY on the Gyrocopter. Tuss is building a mech and he still hasn't, like, all their first items are not complete yet. That's why it's very difficult for them to take a fight right now. Whereas if you look at Vici Gaming, they have the 4 stuff on the Sala completed. Queen of Pain doesn't really need anything right now. Like, obviously it would be nice if you have your Aghanims, but they have what they need. They have the Vlads on the Lycan, that's why they could have taken the Vlads plus obviously the M damage that allowed them to take the Roche so quickly.
Yeah,
It's just Vici's timing, that's why it's very hard for EHOME to take a fight here.
That little item advantage has really added up. And it's even harder for EHOME on top of everything because they are a relatively pick-off focused lineup, especially with the Tusk, the Lina, the Dragon Knight. So
I mean,
Vici are
you
5-manning,
can
what
say
can
that.
you do?
You can say that, but they are also looking to, 5-man and push as well with their lineup. They can also do that.
That's true, yeah, if they were in a
Yeah.
more even footing.
But right now, because they are losing, so they can't really 5-man. They have to try and get as much farm on all their cores. So they're sort of forced into this situation. What did the Dragon Knight buy? I think he's not going for Blink anymore, right? Or he's going for BKB.
Yeah, Ogre Club picked up.
Is he even going for BKB? BKB doesn't even feel that good this game for him.
Yeah, I don't know what problems it solves, actually.
Oh, mid lane. Oh dear, he just TP down.
Dire's middle
Poor Lamb.
Holy shit, it's Lamb again. The whole game, he's been hunted down.
And that's a bunch of
Oh
big
dear,
spells to
this
lose.
feels like Brax though.
has fallen.
Yeah, definitely could be. Vici gonna get a couple more items delivered pretty soon as well. I think the Queen of Pain Ags is pretty much complete. FY
they're gonna back off.
Ags.
Oh, it's not okay. I thought it was a level. I thought it was a level 3 Necrovoke, but it was just level 1. I think he has level 2.
Not quite.
Does he have level 2 recipe? No. So it's just gonna be a level 2 with his gold right now. So, yeah. If it was anything better, then they would have probably been able to push.
Oh man, this. So what do we got? Fenrir's got a Glimmer Cape now, which is going to make it extremely difficult for EHOME to burst
Super
anybody.
gets caught with the shots.
And he gets punched up as well. Old Chicken's gonna come in here, look for the Dragon Tail, gets it down, and they will get a very crucial kill.
That was such a good setup from 11. Holy shit. He got all
he's a
his spells
beast.
on like, yeah, on Tusk. Obviously, he's one of the best Tusk players in China. He got all his spells at the right situation to allow his. If he
Radiant's
were to
top
slightly
tower is under
misexecute
attack.
any one of those spells, his
Radiant's
Dragon Knight wouldn't be able to
structures
arrive
are
to
fortified.
land the stun, and they wouldn't be able to get the kill.
Is under attack.
Yeah, and that was a
So
really
well
big
played.
gold swing, and the Gyrocopter's the one to pick up the last hit there.
But
so-
I think he spent his gold right before he died. Yeah, he spent his gold.
yeah, looks like.
So the next timing for Vici is obviously gonna. Oh no! Wait a minute. They might get a. Oh, I was thinking they might get a catch on the Visage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Almost
Oh, they
managed.
wanna fight.
Fenrir wants to turn this around a little bit. Old Chicken. His ultimate's actually going to wear out pretty soon. They need to be careful about that. And he's getting work down. 11 does have his mech available, but he's going to get Winter's Curse. Will he be able to get it off? No Sonic Wave from Burning. Did he manage to pick up the eggs before he used that? Unfortunately, no. Blinks
Nah.
forward. Looks like he might end up dying, but nope. There is a call down, but the Glimmer Cape.
His bottom tower.
Will it be able to save the team? Yeah, saves Burning. Glimpse back on the Ice, who was diving deep, but...
Too bad he didn't get his Aghanim's, otherwise he'll be really happy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is he gonna get the reduced cooldown? No, unfortunately not, so...
Yeah,
Long-
but they're still in a very good position regardless. There's no way EHOME can contest anything right now. They have to just wait for high ground defense. I mean, it'll be nice if he actually got the Aghanims there.
Dire's
I think it's a little thing in the grand scheme of things. Vici are still
Yeah, it's
very
not
far
important, but
Yeah.
it's like a small thing. Oh, if it happens for you, great. But if it doesn't, you're not gonna worry too much about it.
At the very least, CTY is kind of keeping the pace in terms of farm, and he's really going
Yeah,
to need to.
But
this
he
game.
needs to be ahead though in this type
Yeah.
of lineup though, because if he's not ahead, he gets blocked. Like you mentioned, he gets stunned or he gets cursed. He's just gonna be disappearing off the map, unless the snowball comes in and dodges the sonic wave, or something like that happens. Dodges the soul assumption. It's gonna be tough though, because you're gonna be counting on the Tusk so much. I mean, he's one of the best Tusk players in China, but at the same time, you don't want to put your Tusk in such a position where you cannot use the snowball to initiate. You are always going to be just, being very defensive. You have to wait because you're so worried that the gyrocopter just gets burst down from nothing.
EHOME do look to go on the offensive a little bit here. 3-man smoke with the Blink Dagger picked up on the Dragon Knight, so it looks like he's decided.
Oh,
But the-
what? He just went for the casual
Yeah,
ogre,
just-
then he went back for...
Just got the Ogre Club.
I thought he changed his mind though, because I was like, oh, he's gonna blink. Then he went for the ogre club. Then I'm like, okay, maybe he doesn't want to go blink anymore. Then he goes back for the blink. That is very strange.
Yeah, I don't know if the BKB, like we were saying, I don't know if it really does anything for you.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I
can
think
dodge
he
the
probably-
crush, but like,
I think he probably felt the same as well. Like after maybe a small talk with his team, he's like, oh, I don't think BKB will be very helpful for you. We just need you to get blink so we can start a fight. But here comes the Rax push.
Is under attack.
EHOME we're
is
hoping for a pickoff,
Vici
hoping for someone to
timing.
defend, but VG have all the momentum. No reason to back
Yeah,
up.
this is level 3 Necrovolt. This is so strong. They have blink on the Slada as well, right? Yeah, Slada has blink. So this is so difficult for EHOME to defend.
Yeah, the familiar eggs and the wolves are gonna jump in, crush into Old Chicken. He
Oh,
gets
the
cursed. Stop! 11 unable to save him. The Sonic Wave gets blocked a little bit, but they've still managed to burst the Dragon Knight, who does not have a buyback available. This is only gonna get harder for EHOME. They're gonna force step CTY forward, trying to bring him outside of the base. I think that was the Slardar's force staff. But
Okay, the books ran out, so I guess their
Radiant's
base is still
bottom
fine for
tower is
now.
under attack.
But the next push is definitely gonna destroy the Rex if they get the same initiation like what just happened. The curse on what, 3 heroes? Sonic Wave on 3?
Radiant's bottom tower is
the,
under
the force staff from Ice, I think, actually ended up hurting
Yeah.
FY a little bit because it pushed the gyrocopter closer to the familiars, and the flak cannon I think actually
Maybe
killed all
if
three
they
of
actually
them.
pushed the gyro past the ice shards, they would
Yeah.
have been able to get the extra kill and they would have been able to get Rex. So I mean, he didn't get what he wanted, but it was an idea that he wanted to extend his team's lead in that fight if he actually made it work.
I'm certainly not blaming him for trying, but yeah. Poor FY is still gonna have to wait around another 20 seconds to get his birds back up. But he's now level
Yeah,
11,
yeah.
so he's gonna
It's
have
fine
it.
though, because he's gonna have it before they push. I mean, as soon as they want to push. Because on Ostada, solo kill. Again on Disruptor.
Okay, how-
Oh my god.
I
this is so
kind of
sad
saw
for
him
me.
running over, and then he just blinked and force staffed over everything, and demolished him. I don't know how it was like a couple auto attacks maximum.
This is so sad. Like the whole game from the start, he got killed first blood, then he went back to lane and he died. Then every time the starter finds him, he just dies.
Yeah, how many deaths on program? 0 and 5 at the moment.
It's
but
probably all the 5 deaths came from.
I think every single one might be Ice Ice Ice. Yeah.
And they are really good friends. Every time they play each other, they give each other that pat on the back. Cheeky smiles.
Well, it's all business here, in game. But
Yep.
Vici
No friends for now. I just want to kill you.
burning in a little bit of trouble, but they've got the Glimmer Cape. He's gonna get silenced, but he's almost completely invulnerable here, especially with the Cold Embrace. Familiar drops are
This fight is
perfect,
well
and it sets up for a 3-hero crush from Ice Ice Ice. Burning repositions with the Blink and drops down the Sonic Wave. Snowball finds its way a little bit deeper into the base, but it's only 11 aboard. And CTY is going to be forced to buy back. They've already lost 3. Ice 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 looking for more. Gets another 2-hero crush. 11's going to tick out.
Damn.
And that's the GG. Lamb's had enough of Ice Ice Ice's antics. And it is going
He
to be
started the
2v3.
fight with a crush on 3, then the Sonic Wave came on 3 as well, and then he landed a secondary 2-man crush on the starter. Man, this guy is just MVP of this game for sure. The
MVP
starter.
this series, I think. His performance in game 1 was amazing as well. So yeah, really with their backs up against the wall.
Their lanes were really good as well. You rarely see Wyvern going to the off lane early to actually, just sit in the lane and give the starter a good head start. And the starter, after getting I think it was level 4 when he started to roam, and he gave the lane to the Wyvern so the Wyvern could actually get solo XP. And the starter got a kill in the river, then he got a kill in the middle lane, he came from behind. He was basically setting up so much space for his team to get farm and experience. It's just ridiculous how much work the starter did in the early stages, just with boots and all venom and urn.
Yeah, and they punished EHOME so hard for their intent to try and do anything bottom lane. I mean, we talked about it being the read on the rotation after they saw them scouting in.
Yeah, that was really key move as well. They saw. I didn't expect the gyro to die as well after they knew the queen was running top because they had a vision, they had a rune, a ward in the mid lane, so they spotted the queen running up towards top lane, but they still lost the gyro. That was a moment where they smoked their whole team up, like I think maybe not the whole team, 3 heroes up going to the gyrocopter's lane, but they didn't save the gyrocopter and they lost the gyrocopter, so they wasted time, they didn't get anything. So it was really bad for them after that. It's very hard for them to come back into the game, especially against this lineup where Vici Gaming is very fast-paced with their heroes, and they even secured the Roshan like I mentioned. EHOME with their team fight has to be able to come back at a certain stage in the game, which is for me the Roshan fight. But they lost. I think someone got picked off right before the Roshan. It was the Gyro. Someone died before the Roshan fight.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the Dragon Knight.
No.
So
It was Gyro because it was like Gyro was 4 seconds away or something from respawning as the Roshan fell. I think it was when the gyrocopter got Winter's Cursed the second time on mid lane, where the tier 1 tower was, and they killed him.
So
and then
basically, Vici hit all the timings. They got the Roshan, and basically the game was very, very difficult for EHOME after that point, because they were too far behind. Even with a superior, maybe not superior, but they had a very good team fight lineup because they had like 2 or 3 very big spells in team fight: the Snowball, the Silence from Disruptor, and Call Down. But it was just they were very, very far behind, so it became extremely difficult for them to execute their combo.
Yeah. So for EHOME, their backs are now really up against the wall, down 0-2 against Vici as we move into game 3. Could very well be the very last game of this series, guys, so make sure you stick around and you join us for that coming up next.
Whoops, my bad. good ultimate on 3 to 4 heroes. Like I think the first one was in the middle lane
On
when
Old Chicken?
they. I can't remember
Or
on the full,
the-
but Panda died. Remember the
Oh,
middle
yeah.
fight?
Yeah.
He blinked in, he didn't BKB, he died. And then he bought back and he dropped a curse on 4 heroes. And they basically defended Rex. That timing was so good for EHOME because they were so strong.
We're getting closer and closer and closer, and then just towards the end there, it was Vici who was finding the jumps with those great Winter's Curses from Fenrir. Even the one when they were smoking up through the dire jungle, and they spotted 11, but Fenrir had already seen the Juggernaut, and he just blinked past the Tusk and went straight for the Jug, and Winter's cursed him, and then CTY kind of panic ulted, only killed the Undying, and that opened the way for burning. And I mean, that was the way that things went for the rest of the game. Fenrir finding those great initiations.
Yeah, that was just that was just like I think for them to realize that in team fights after the first few fights, they needed to understand that the Omnislash's priority has to be on the anti-mage, right? Because that's the only way they kill him. But at the same time, because the Juggernaut got jumped on, so he was like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna die, right? So he has to jump into Omnislash to some target nearby, and he couldn't save it for the AM. So it's like you mentioned, the initiation was so key by Vici. They got the jump first, thanks to Fenrir all the time, and obviously some fights the Panda jumped in first. But I think definitely Fenrir was hands down the MVP that won them the game. Man, these supports are really so good.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm losing my voice a little bit actually, but so once again, congratulations to Vici. They're going to be heading to LA for the Summit 4 as they qualify for the main event. It's not curtains just yet for EHOME. They were still in the upper bracket. They've still got one more shot against LGD tomorrow, but LGD are looking pretty fierce, and I don't know. Winter, who do you favor in the matchup? Who do you like going into tomorrow? Or do you need to do a little bit more prep before you can make that call?
I think I like EHOME more because EHOME looks more like a team, and LGD looks a bit scattered at times because they are not united 100%. I mean, they are still improving compared to their showing at Nanyang, but I feel like their team is fragmented though. They are not really on the same page on a lot of things, and you remember the Rage GG out by Syla?
Yeah.
So that is not a good sign for me. So I think EHOME are favorites in that matchup, but I wouldn't say that huge favorites. Maybe 7-3, or maybe even 6-4. I don't think that it's impossible for LGD to win. It's just gonna be difficult for them to win, but not impossible.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if they can take a page out of whatever Vici Gaming did today to take this 3-0. It was. I'm not going to call the last game necessarily convincing because I think EHOME really gave them a run for their money, especially it feels like a very long time ago, but with all the comeback plays that we saw out of 11, they were down 5-0. We were already lamenting like,
Dude,
oh man, this looks terrible.
This guy is the best Tusk player in China. I swear, man. This guy. Him and Garda is support Tusk. This guy is like a little offlane Tusk, so they're different. But Garda, this guy, 11 Garda plus Ice. I think those are the 3 best Tusk players in China.
Okay.
And that guy was just a beast though, when
Yeah.
we mentioned, they needed to do something right now.
Yeah, and then he went and got 1 kill bot, and then they smoked immediately, and they got the double kill mid, and
That was minute 9. We were talking, oh my god, EHOME is so screwed right now. And then 40 seconds later, they got 4 kills thanks to the Tusk.
okay. Well, we'll have to see if EHOME can find a little bit of that magic tomorrow. So, Winter, are you going to be joining me tomorrow? Do you have that
Nah,
scheduled in?
I have a wedding to attend tomorrow. I can't. I think Parker's gonna be joining you.
All right. Well, it'll be me and Parker back tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me, Winter. It was a pleasure as always. Don't forget to